You don't want to be every time, no. I would like to personally welcome you to Man Hour After Dark. Say that thing. I bring you the host, Mike, Buck, and Cone. You know who coming to the stage. Sports talk than what you about to hear right here. I second that.
Go. You know that it's us when we talking about sports. Giving you facts on the field to the core. Tune in, we need the support. 1 hour too short, then listen some more. On all your stations, not dropping no music. Stripes like Adidas, but Nike just do it. Down 4 in the 4th, we go for the win. Michael 2 seconds, we taking it in. Buck, Mike, and Combs, you know what's going on. Man, now we're After Dark, no LA, we the big spark. No 4th and inches won't cut you short. Got the best talking, it's all sports. Buzzing more than buzz beaters. We coming live all through your speakers, go.
And what is up, Man Hour Nation? Michael Buckcott, you're here with the Man Hour Show. Head to manhourradio.com. Check out the merchandise page. Of course, check out the blog section as well. And it is Monday. That means one thing and one thing only. We got Fact or Crap Monday heading your way here in just a few minutes. We're going to talk about Deshaun Watson, his reinstatement to the NFL today, and his start versus the Houston Texans next week. We are going to talk about Russell Wilson and his woes over there in Denver. The Ravens drop another double-digit lead and lose again for the 4th time this season. We'll talk a little bit about that. And Aaron Rodgers has some broken ribs. Is Jordan Love going to be the answer over there in Green Bay? But before we get too carried away, we got to get shocked.
Alrighty. Sorry, I was waiting for the damn music to go. My bad. I don't know if any of you guys saw it this weekend, but the Washington football team, the Washington Commanders, the Washington not Redskins anymore, whatever the hell you want to call them now, we're supposed to put up a statue in a tribute to Sean Taylor. Now, this is the 15-year anniversary since Sean Taylor lost his life defending his wife and his daughter inside of his home from some thieves that would end up shooting Sean Taylor and killing him. And when they unveiled it, they unveiled a wire mannequin with a Nike jersey, which was not worn by Sean Taylor, with some Nike pants that was also not worn by Sean Taylor, and some Adidas soccer cleats. Now, the Adidas soccer cleats was a decent touch because that was one thing that was near and dear to Sean Taylor's heart. He, for whatever reason, loved playing football in soccer cleats, and it was special to him. He felt like he was better with soccer cleats than football cleats. That was the one thing that they got right on this whole damn thing. This is something you're going to hear people joke about this on ESPN radio. You're going to hear people joke on this on other platforms. You're going to hear people say this. Here's what you're not going to hear a lot of people say. Dan Snyder, you're a piece of shit. 15 years this man has been dead. 15 years. This guy was an all-pro. This guy probably would have been a first ballot Hall of Famer. Might have been one of the best linebackers to ever play the game. And you unveil a wire mannequin with a jersey, with some pants, a wire mannequin, not a statue. A wire mannequin is the best you can do. You cheap bastard. This is how you honor this man's legacy. This is typical Dan Snyder. Typical Dan Snyder. And he's about to make $8 billion off of the sale of the Washington football team. It's a joke. And the NFL should absolutely do everything within their power to make this sale go through as fast as possible. Because everything this man touches is an absolute joke. Buck, cue the music.
All righty, guys, welcome to the Man Hour here. Before we get too carried away, we have to welcome some people into the chat. Here we see Mama Buck in the chat. What is up, Mama? We see Alpha Rob. We see my man Drew over there as well. We see Aaron over there on Facebook group. What's up, Aaron? Thank you for tuning in tonight. We see Terry. Terry, thank you for tuning in as well, as well. And everybody else that is tuning on any other platform tonight, be sure to like, share, and comment. Commenting is sharing, and sharing is caring here at the Man Hour. But let me welcome the man, the myth, the legend, the peanut butter to my ladies, Mr. Brandon BC Combs. By the way, I heard you on your Man Hour Chicago show just a couple weeks ago, Mr. trying to steal my lines. But hey, it is what it is. It is what it is. What's up, Combsy?
Hey, you know, the the most sincerest form of flattery is imitation, correct?
I believe
So,
that is
you know,
yeah.
I'm just trying. I gotta, try to bring some of the greatness that you bring
Yeah.
onto the Man Hour Chicago show, and kind of, blend it into what we're doing over there. It's been great. If you guys have not joined us yet, join us on Sundays at 10 a.m. Central Standard Time for all the Chicago sports talk. We had a great talk this week. A lot of really good stuff in it. If you are passionate about Chicago sports, if you love the Chicago Bears, the Bulls, the Blackhawks, the Cubs, the White Sox, if you feel all of our pain, then you're gonna love this show. We had a great show this past weekend, so definitely check us out.
Yeah.
But Buck, man, I was fired up with this Sean Taylor stuff, man. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah. So I knew very little about it until I saw a TikTok about it. I think it was like Sunday night. I think I saw the TikTok on. I was like, wait, this can't be true. And then I was digging deeper into it, and then you sent me. I was like, whoa. That is a little messed up. And so you as a NFL fan, what else would you have liked to seen? Would you like to have seen like an actual mannequin that looks like him, or like
how about
what would you like to see?
statue? Could you imagine if the Bulls unveiled the Michael Jordan statue outside of the United Center that they have, and it was a wire freaking mannequin with a Bulls jersey on it?
Maybe it wasn't done yet.
It's just stupid. It's done.
Yeah.
Dan Snyder's, dude, the guy, and I said it in the intro, and I'm gonna say it again. The guy's a piece of shit.
Yep.
He's been that way his entire. It's not the first time that he's crapped on the legacy of Sean Taylor or the legacy of other Redskins players from the past. It's just something that he does. This guy, he's a joke. He shouldn't be in the NFL. He shouldn't be an owner. And the best thing that can happen to this fan base, because they are a really good fan base,
right?
The best thing that can happen to this fan base is Daniel Snyder getting the hell out of the way.
Well, after they win a Super Bowl this year, because they are definitely clicking on all cylinders, right?
They're looking good right now,
They're looking real good right now.
I just hope that they don't win the Super Bowl in spite of Dan, because I just don't want that guy to have a trophy before he leaves.
And then freaking Jay-Z and Elon Musk comes in and writes the ship, right? Anyways.
Elon Musk, and he's going to have nothing but robots playing for him.
It isn't Elon Musk. It's the dude that owns Amazon. What is it? Bezos, right? Bezos is his name.
Bezos.
Yeah. Anyways, Combs, let's get in today's show here, and we are going to start off this Factor Crap Monday, and we're going to hit in the many heartstrings of many Cleveland Browns fans and Houston Texans fans, guys. Deshaun Watson has been he has been reinstated by the NFL to play this week in the Week 12 matchup, the Cleveland Browns versus the Houston Texans. I believe it is in Houston as well, and he is listed to be starter. Combs, Jacoby Brissett has been playing pretty good despite the circumstances that he was throwing into at the start of this season. So Factor Crap, Combs, the Cleveland Browns are making a mistake by sitting Jacoby Brissett in place of Deshaun Watson.
That is crap. They're definitely not making a mistake. Deshaun Watson's their quarterback of the future, and he should be. Deshaun Watson got a raw deal in Houston. Deshaun Watson has been through the ringer, has been through hell with his legal battle, his legal issues, and whether or not they're accurate, which we don't always speculate on, because you don't ever want to hurt anybody's feelings nowadays, right? Nah, screw it. Yeah, damn guy was innocent, and he should have got 0 games this year, and instead he got 12. So yes, he should absolutely be their starting quarterback, because he is the best quarterback on that roster, and he gives them the best chance to win football games. Jacoby Brissett, what are they now, 3-8? Something like that.
I think they're 4-7 right now, because they beat the Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
Yeah, they did. They won yesterday. Deshaun Watson just brings them to that next level. 4-7 right now. You're still in the playoff hunt.
Yep.
You're still in the playoff hunt at 4-7 in the NFL this year, which is crazy to me, but it's the truth. And Deshaun Watson can absolutely go out there, help them win the final 6 games, and finish this season at 10-7 and possibly back into the playoffs. I mean, that's what Deshaun Watson brings to the table. So Jacoby Brissett, okay, thank you for your service. You're going to sit down now, and if we need you, we'll call you back up. Like, that's just how it goes. You're not the starting quarterback. You were a place filler. The guy's back now. He's fully reinstated. The NFL has put him back into everything. They said he's good to go. He's going to play this weekend, and I expect him to play well. Look, the guy's got something to prove,
right?
And I think that a guy with that much talent that has something to prove is going to come out firing, man. I mean, I'm not saying he's the same quarterback, but remember when Tom Brady got suspended for Deflategate?
Right.
And came back and ran things and won the Super Bowl. I mean, that's the type of performances that I'm going to be expecting from Deshaun Watson over the last 5
Let's
weeks.
just be clear. You don't expect him to win the Super Bowl, right?
No, I don't expect him to win the Super Bowl. Not this year. But
right.
I do expect the Cleveland Browns for the formidable future being, I should say foreseeable future, being a formidable foe in the AFC.
Right.
And competing with the teams like the Buffalo Bills and the Kansas City Chiefs. And man, those three quarterbacks there, those are three quarterbacks that are going to be leading their teams for quite a while. So
right, and let's not sleep on Kenny Pickett either. That's definitely a rebuild season for the Steelers. But Combs, when I first wrote down this question, if Jacoby Brissett should be benched or not, I started digging into some of the stats. Combs, do you realize that Jacoby Brissett is a 7th-ranked quarterback in the NFL right now? He is a top 10 quarterback in the NFL right now per stats and QBR. Now, the eye test tells you...
What are you looking at?
Those are on ESPN.com. Check it out. But per the eye test, obviously he is not a top 10 quarterback right now in the league. But what Jacoby Brissett did do this season was he played himself into a possible starting role next season. There are some teams out there that are going to be looking for quarterbacks. Let's look no further than the Houston Texans. They sat Davis Mills this week and they put Allen in, and he was a complete dog shit show there. The Jets, who knows what is going on in the lock and the Jets. Panthers could be looking for a quarterback as well. But yes, this is complete crap. You spent $230 million guaranteed money on this quarterback. I believe Taylor Heineke Combs said it best earlier this preseason when there was a quote, a quarterback competition between Carson Wentz and himself. He said, they're paying me $2 million. They're paying him $17 million. There is no competition here. There is no way Jacoby Brissett is going to take that starting job from Deshaun Watson. Ain't no way and ain't no how, because $230 million and what it was like 6 draft picks too. Like it was something crazy, right? It's just there is no way they're going to sit him down for him. And versus Houston, how pissed off is Deshaun Watson going to be if he's not the starter for your football team versus his old team? Come on, man.
Well, not only that, but I mean, I looked up the stat because I couldn't believe you were saying he was 7th. But if you upload it by QBR, according to ESPN, Jacoby Brissett is the 7th rank. He's got a 64% completion percentage. He has 2,608 passing yards, and he has 12 touchdowns and 6 interceptions, which is about equivalent to Deshaun Watson's rookie year, which was his worst year as a quarterback. Since then, he hasn't completed anything less than 67.3% of his passes and hasn't had any season in which he's been a 2-to-1 touchdown to interception ratio.
He also hasn't played in 2 seasons either, though.
But his passer rating's been over 100 in every season that he's played. There is no reason why Deshaun Watson should not be starting over Jacoby Brissett. Jacoby Brissett's just not Jacoby Brissett does not move the needle. Deshaun Watson not only moves the needle, but he moves your franchise from a lower tier team to a contender.
Right.
And maybe not this year because he missed 12 games. 12 games is a lot to make up. But moving into the future, the Cleveland Browns should be a team that contends in the AFC.
Yeah, and let's just be flat out honest. Let's look back a couple years ago. Baker Mayfield led the Cleveland Browns to the playoffs. They're 12-4 that year, Combs, or something like that. They were a really good team, and they've only added pieces to that team since then. Yes, Chubb is a little bit older. Yes, Hunt is a little bit older. Yes, the defense is a little bit older, but they've added Amari Cooper. They've added Peoples-Jones. They added Deshaun Watson.
Chubb's gone now too. Chubb's in Miami now, and I'm sorry, not Chubb. What was this face?
Bradley
I
Chubb
forget.
is in Miami, from the
Their
Broncos.
defensive player. Yeah, their defensive player that they traded this halfway through. So I can't remember his name.
That was
But
from the
at
Broncos.
any
That
rate-
wasn't from the Browns. That was Bradley Chubb from the Broncos.
No,
to
no,
the
no,
Miami.
no. I was thinking of the other defensive player that they had that they traded. I can't remember his name.
No.
But the Browns to me are, and this team's going to be really excited to have Deshaun back. I mean, the wide receiver core is going to be ecstatic. The offensive line is going to be ecstatic,
right,
to have this guy back, and even the running back. I mean, even Chubb and who's their second running back there?
Kareem Hunt.
Kareem Hunt. I wanted to say Kamara for some reason. Kareem Hunt, having Deshaun Watson back, I mean, that opens them up as well with all the RPOs, everything that he brings to the table, the way he opens up the field. Donovan Peoples-Jones is going to have a much better end to his season. They've got weapons. This team is going to be really good. They're going to be a force in the AFC. They're going to be if they don't come back and win the AFC North, they're going to be a team that disrupts the AFC North at the very least.
Yeah, and let's not forget that Deshaun Watson was arguably a top 5 quarterback in the NFL. Just his last season, 2019 was his last season, right, Combs, or was it the 2020 season?
2019.
Yes, but yeah, I mean, he's a damn good quarterback. And you know who is not a damn good quarterback, Holmes, and that is Russell freaking Wilson, letting him cook and burning rice at the end of the day. The defensive lineman for the Denver Broncos has been visibly upset with Russell Wilson through the last couple of weeks, and last night or last Sunday we saw it on camera where the defense was physically assaulting Russell Wilson, not physically, but verbally assaulting him. They're basically saying that he sucks and he is nowhere worth the $250 million that he is being paid for right now. So, Combs, fact or crap? The Denver Broncos made a huge mistake by signing Russell Wilson and trading for him in the offseason.
Dude, this is about as much of a fact as you've ever stated on the Man Hour. This guy signing, and it is comical to me now, because I remember when this happened and we both said this was a bad move for the Denver Broncos. We both said this was a terrible signing. And what he's done, I mean, the only thing he's done since he's been there is say "let's ride" in every press conference that he has. And I think everybody's getting sick and tired of hearing it. The fans, his teammates, everybody's getting sick of hearing it. He had a teammate yesterday on the sideline yelling at him, even though afterwards they both said, "Oh, I was just firing him up, saying let's effing go." I'm pretty sure you were in his face saying, "Hey, how about you earn your $250 effing dollars?" is probably what you were really saying to him. But nobody's going to come out and say that to the media, right?
Right.
This guy should be charged with larceny. This should be grand theft. This should be all of the things, and he should be in jail for what he is doing to this Denver Broncos organization and this fan base. Because you can ride with him if you want to, but you're going to be looking like you're on a front wheel drive truck that does not have 4-wheel drive. And you're driving through off-road and cutting through trees and trying to miss everything and hitting everything on your way through. Because this ride is a joke. This quarterback is a joke. And they can't even cut him, Buck. That's the funny thing. They can't cut him. This $250 million is guaranteed.
Fully guaranteed.
Guaranteed money. They've got 4 years left of this.
Yep.
You're not going to bench him. You're not paying that guy that much money to sit on the bench. There's no way.
You can't trade him.
4 more years of this. Nobody's. Yeah. What are you gonna trade him to? Yeah, Daniel Snyder might take the contract. The Panthers maybe. I don't know, but this guy and this amount of money and what you guaranteed him, he should be in jail. This is absolutely fact. This was probably one of the worst signings in NFL history.
Yeah, and when I sat here and I thought about this, I'm like, let's flash back to earlier this off season. Yes, we both had said this was probably one of the dumbest things that the Denver Broncos could have ever done. But then, was it week 3 they signed him to that guaranteed contract? He hadn't done shit for you then, so what makes you think he's going to just do shit for you now? Which is absolutely asinine. But this is what the bad thing is about this is, Combs. We said that the Denver Broncos were a team that was a quarterback away. And there were many options at quarterback out there that they could have gotten. They could have got Jimmy G. They could have got Jordan Love. Hell, they could have got Baker or Aaron Rodgers, right? There were names out there floating around. Nobody really thought Russell Wilson was truly going to come to Denver. But then they backed up the Brinks truck and said, here, hold my beer. Look what I can do with this Walmart type of cash. And that's exactly what they did is they basically lit the Brinks front on fire and rolled it down a hill. I would hate to be a Denver Broncos fan right now. This is absolute fact, Combs. They messed up big time by not only giving up, 4 draft picks, and then they signed this guy to a 4-year, $250 million guaranteed contract, and he hadn't done crap for you. What, like, who in their right mind would say, hey, I know what you did in Seattle. Oh, you threw an interception on the goal line when you should have handed it to Marshawn Lynch when you could have checked. But seriously, he has not done nothing for Denver Broncos to even warrant like $100 million contract, let alone $250 million.
It's going to take a GM with some serious cojones to go out there and have a top 5-6 draft pick that they're going to have and draft a quarterback, right? Because you draft a quarterback in the first round, he's going to be expecting to play relatively soon, and I mean you're going to have to bench a $250 million, $50 million a year quarterback,
right?
I mean that's a huge cap hit. So in order to right the ship, when you have a quarterback who is underperforming, you've got to move on, right? Much in the way that eventually the Packers moved on from Brett Favre and moved on to Aaron Rodgers, or like right now they're moving on from Aaron Rodgers to Love. Like I would, if it were me, if I'm the GM, I am bringing in a quarterback next year. I'm bringing in a quarterback to push Russell Wilson, and I'm letting him compete. And if he beats out Russell Wilson, which right now I'm convinced that you or I could beat out Russell Wilson for this starting job.
We're taller.
Yeah, well, yeah, we're taller. I mean, we're better looking too, so there's that. But we could take Sierra.
I'll pass.
But I would bring in a guy to compete. And if he beats out Russell Wilson for this job, I would give him the job, and I would have that money on the bench, and I would show my team. I mean, that does make a statement to the guys too. Look, I don't care how much money you make. If you're not going to help me win, you're not playing. Like, I would be of that mindset, but that's easier said than done when it's not my money. I'm not the one paying Russell Wilson. Now
we do have a couple comments flowing in about this. Alpha Rob says Brissett is better than Russ. Let's ride, Wilson. So there's that.
Are you saying that they should bring in Jacoby Brissett?
So this is the mindset about this, right? So Aaron Rodgers' first year with Nathaniel Hackett as his offensive coordinator / quarterback coach had a very down year, right? But then the next 2 seasons, aka 2020 and 2021, he won back-to-back MVPs. So do I think Russell Wilson is all of a sudden going to turn it on to win back-to-back MVPs? I don't know, but I feel next year will be a lot better, a year in a new offense. Maybe, if Hackett, makes it to that point, because I see many Denver fans that want him out with his poor management skills. But, I mean, he does have a proven track of success. I mean, granted, it was with Aaron Rodgers, which is arguably the best quarterback in the NFL, if not ever, versus Russ, which is right now is not even top 20 quarterback. So
yeah, and Casey Morgan over on the Facebook page says he finds it funny being a diehard Chiefs fan. Of course, you find it funny because you hate the Broncos. But I find it funny too, because I'll never. So So Liz, who is a big fan of the show and who I work with, she's a big Broncos fan. Well, she used to be a big Broncos fan. Now she's wearing Vikings jerseys and stuff like that.
That's a weird transition, isn't it? Well, I guess she is from
her boyfriend lives in Minnesota and he's a big Vikings fan.
Okay.
So I guess it is what it is. But I would never switch on my team. But that's just me.
Liz,
but he is running fans to other teams. Like nobody wants to be a part of this because this is how big of a joke Russell Wilson has become. Like it's funny. It really is. Like it's funny to a lot of people. And I don't think it's even just fans of the AFC West who aren't Broncos fans. It's funny to a lot of people because we saw this coming. Yep. The only people that thought it was a good trade were Broncos fans.
Whoa, hang on.
And I don't even know why they thought it was a good trade.
Weren't you saying they were going to be a playoff team, Combs?
What? Are you out of your mind? I said they were going to be the worst team in the division.
Okay. But Casey did bring up a good point. Like over here at facebook.com/man hour sports. He says, remember when everyone said that the Chiefs were the worst team in the divisions, Combs, because the Chargers and Raiders were due to offseason trades drafts? Look out.
I said they were the third. I said they would finish third, and the only reason they wouldn't finish worse was because Russell Wilson went to the Broncos.
But how has that played out for you, Combsy?
I did say that I was wrong. Look, the Raiders have been
You're a man.
abysmal.
Don't admit you're wrong.
The Raiders have been abysmal, and the Chargers have been hurt all freaking year. I still think that when healthy, the Chargers might be the best team in this division, or at least it's very close. Like they are just every bit as good and talented as the Kansas City Chiefs are when they're healthy.
Right. The
Chiefs have been healthy all year. They've had a good run. Look, Mahomes is proving a lot to me because I thought that the loss of Tyreek Hill would be a bigger deal than what it has been to Patrick Mahomes. And so no, you were right. I was wrong. Like I'm not afraid to admit when I was wrong. And I was wrong. I was wrong about the Kansas City Chiefs. They are a lot better team than I thought they were going to be. That being said, they're still going to get bounced in the first or second round by the Buffalo Bills or by somebody that they shouldn't lose to.
Okay. I mean, I like that. I mean, let's flash back to 2 weeks ago when the Chiefs did play the Chargers. The Chargers kind of had the Chiefs on the ropes until Mike Williams, he went down, and then it was a whole different game. So, I mean, you are definitely spot on about the Chargers there. When healthy, they are probably one of the most prolific teams in the AFC, but like I said, their injuries have been adding up with them a lot.
Yeah, I mean, Herbert was playing with torn cartilage in his ribs for about 4 weeks too.
Well, no, that was longer than that because like week 2 he played the Chiefs and got his ass waxed, and he's been hurt ever since.
Yeah.
So yeah, and then Cam Akers is just back now. Not Cam Akers, but Austin Eckler, right? So yeah,
Austin Eckler, yeah. So if they get healthy, if they can never get Mike Williams back in there, this team will be they'll be good. They're staying afloat right now. I think they'll find a way to get into a wild card spot, and if they're healthy come playoff time, they could be one of those teams that goes from the 7th seed to the Super Bowl. Yeah, easily.
100%. So speaking of a team that is in the 7th seed, and that is not the Baltimore Ravens right now because they're tied for first right now in the AFC North. But Combs, they have given up 4. That's right, not 1, not 2, not 3, but 4 double-digit leads this season and have lost the game in the fourth quarter, most recently this week. Now, it has been said that Lamar Jackson is an elite quarterback, the best of his game, but with that being said, Combs, factor crap, the defense, not Lamar Jackson or the offense, but the defense will be the reason why the Ravens get bounced in the playoffs this season.
Yeah, when you posed this question to me, my first initial reason was, God, that's crap, right? But then I started looking at it, and you said they've got 4 losses of blown double-digit leads. And they've only got 4 losses.
Right.
So they are 4 double-digit blown leads away from being 11-0 right now. And to me, I mean, it reeks of another team named after a bird, the Atlanta Falcons. And you start playing good teams and you can't hold a lead, that's going to be a problem. Ask the Buffalo Bills how long it took them to lose last year in the playoffs.
13-second merch is at manaradio.com.
If you blow a lead, and you blow it to a good team, they're going to hurt you. And I I think this is fact. I think that the defense of the Baltimore Ravens is going to be their downfall come playoff time. I really do. I think that this team is one of those that is going to find a way to beat themselves in the playoffs, just the way that they've beat themselves all 4 times that they've lost this year.
Yeah, so when we first look at this question, obviously hindsight is 2020. Going up double digits in the fourth quarter and ultimately losing the game, you kind of got to point it to the defensive side of the ball, right? But let's take a step further. Let's look through the scoreboard and into the analytics of this game. All of these,
this is going to be Lamar's fault, isn't it?
This is exactly Lamar Jackson's fault. Why, Combs? Because last week alone, they were in the red zone 3 times. He overthrew his tight end 4 times in the red zone for touchdown opportunities in which they had to settle for field goals in that particular time. And they lost to the Jacksonville Jaguars by 1 point. So you turn 3 of those red zone appearances into 1 touchdown, you win that game hands down. With that being said, also, the Baltimore Ravens do not have that grinded out, I'm going to slow the offense down or slow the game down type of offense either, because they are so reliant on these big plays over and over and over again. And what does that consult to? That consults to Lamar Jackson's legs. Now, I proposed a question on Facebook if Lamar Jackson will win a Super Bowl ever in his career, and it's funny to me because I proposed these questions in Baltimore Raven fan groups, and overwhelmingly, Combs, about 80 to 20%, people said no, he will never win a Super Bowl. Why? Because he is an egotistical filled asshole. And we saw that with the tweet that I posted on Man Hour just the other day. So, as the defense did give up the points, right? They did give up the double-digit lead, but also on the flip side, you have to play offense with defense at the same time, a.k.a. run the damn ball, milk the clock, and let your offense relax in the fourth quarter. You're up double digits. Why are you still trying to do this high-profile flying offense? Lamar Jackson just isn't that guy. Combs.
So I'm kind of conflicted with your response here. So on one end, I could come back and say, yeah, but he also put them back in position to win it by leading them down the field to get them into an attempt at a field goal, right?
67 yards.
Field goal,
that's real close.
Field goal attempt. But he did. Well, I mean, he only had enough time to get them there, right? Like,
well, okay. Pause on that. They squid kick it down to the 40. They gained 15 yards in 46 seconds. Congratulations.
Well, okay. So I like the reason why I kind of agree with you is because I kind of agree with the fan that tweeted at him after the game, right? Like, 16 for 32 is not a guy that you really want to be paying $250 million to. Ask the Denver Broncos about that.
Guaranteed.
Like, I mean, you don't want that guy doing that. And you know, Lamar Jackson can come back at you all you want. I mean, but the only reason why Lamar Jackson gave you that reaction was because that hit a spot with Lamar Jackson. Because it was true. It was true. You're not going to pay a guy that type of money for that type of performance. That's not going to happen. So I'm kind of with you, kind of not. Like, I mean, there's a lot that goes into it, you know, clock management, that type of stuff.
Right.
But complete your passes, man. Complete your passes. Complete them when they count. You haven't shown anything since you've lost all of your help, since you've lost Hollywood Brown, since you've lost the guys that could help you out. You haven't shown that you can be that guy with any wide receiver core the way that guys like, Josh Allen and guys like Patrick Mahomes and guys like Justin Herbert have shown that they can be. Justin Herbert's missing half of his wide receiving core. He still had like 35 points in fantasy yesterday. Like, I mean, he's still throwing the ball all over the place. He still led the team downfield and then completed a 2-point conversion to win the game, which, by the way, was a gutsy freaking call by the coach to go for 2 points there. That is the type of performances that you're going to pay that money for. And Lamar, you're just right now, you're not that guy. And every damn week, I get closer and closer. As much as it pains me to do it, I get closer and closer to agreeing with Buck that maybe you're just not that good.
So when we look at earlier this season, what is like the first 5 or 6 weeks, right? Combs, he was playing out of his effing mind, right? He was running all over. He was scoring like 50 points in fantasy. He was finding the end zone on his feet a lot of the times. And people were saying, man, this guy is going to be worth $360 million contract, right? But the minute the defenses get some tape on you for that particular season and a blueprint is laid of how to stop you, the NFL is a mocking league, and they're going to mock that game plan week after week after week. And how do you beat Lamar Jackson? I've been saying it for 3 years. How do you beat him? Keep him in the pocket, force him to throw the ball over 10 yards down the field. Keep 6-7 guys in the box, man up on the outside, force him to throw it over your head. He can't do it. He cannot do it consistently. And unfortunately, Ravens fans, I believe Casey said it the best, Lamar will forever be known as that one and done QB, and he will never win an MVP again either. So.
Yeah, and I can't disagree with stuff like that. I mean, you and Casey are both right about that. Like, at this point, I don't ever see Lamar ever even getting to a Super Bowl, much less winning one.
Right.
I don't see a guy like Lamar being an MVP again. He had one great season, but the league didn't know what he was until that season. And after that season, he hasn't been much since. And I don't know. I don't know. I don't know what to make of it because I don't know. The jury's still out for me. Like,
yep.
He's still got the talent. He's still an MVP quarterback. I mean, we can't take that away from him. But he's got to show that he can do it with his arm. And I just don't know. I just don't know that he can. I don't know that he is much more than what even Soup Boss said it to me a couple of years ago, and I hated it when he put his list out and he had Lamar Jackson as the best running back in football. You know, it was like I was like, you're kidding. This guy's he's a quarterback. He's not a running back. But I'm starting to believe it. I mean, I think it's got like a 63% completion percentage for his career. He's got a great record because they've been very good in the regular season every season. But I mean, in what's he played now? What's this? His seventh year in the league?
1-3. This is his 4th year, right?
No.
Yeah,
it's more than his 4th year, isn't it?
No, because he won the MVP 2019, right?
1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, it's his 5th year. It's his 5th year in the league. 5th year in the league, he's got 12,000 yards passing, so he's averaging about 2,000 yards a season. Little over 2,000 yards a season. I mean, look, that's good if you're a Bears quarterback because we never have a 3,000 yard pass or a 4,000 yard pass.
Doesn't Justin Fields have like 1,800 yards all already?
Yeah, well, we've never had a guy pass for 4,000 yards or 30 touchdowns in Chicago. So I mean, we would take Lamar Jackson, but I mean, we've got a better version of him, I think. So
let me take this conversation one step further. Just because like we are kind of dogging Lamar Jackson, or I'm dogging Lamar Jackson, but is it the coaching aspect? Like, has he never been forced to develop into a quarterback because Jim Harbaugh has kind of catered to his needs and catered to like his wants? Like, do you think, let's say Lamar Jackson does not sign a long-term deal with the Baltimore Ravens and he goes somewhere like, let's say the Green Bay Packers, right? Which I don't think would ever happen, but let's just say that happens. Lamar Jackson to the Green Bay Packers next season. Does he all of a sudden become kind of like an Aaron Rodgers type quarterback because they're forcing him to be a quarterback and not a running back?
I don't think so. I think John Harbaugh has really has altered his game planning for that. I think John Harbaugh has been a consummate professional and has tried to help his team win by knowing the limitations of his quarterback. So I think that if you gave him another quarterback, that might help. I mean, I don't know who that other quarterback would be at this point. Does it have to be through the draft? I mean, are you getting somebody in free agency? I mean, are you going to try to talk to? I mean, I don't know. Are you going to try to talk to Aaron Rodgers to bring him there for a year or two after this year? I don't think he would want to go play in Baltimore, but I mean, who else are you going to bring over to Baltimore? I don't think that there's very many free agents out there. I mean, maybe you could trade for Russell Wilson. I mean, maybe you could do that, but I mean, I don't know. I don't know what you do if you're Baltimore, because again, you're winning football games. You're gonna be what, the 19th, 20th overall pick. So you're not going to get a very good quarterback, especially not in this year's draft. And if you don't sign Lamar, well, what do you do at the quarterback position? I don't even know who's their backup.
I am not 100% sure, but I know last year it was that guy from Ohio State, right? But I think he's with the Cardinals now for some reason.
Right now.
But
it's Tyler Huntley.
Yeah, that's right. Tyler Huntley. Which don't you remember last year when Lamar Jackson went down for those couple games? Tyler Huntley looked a lot better than Lamar Jackson in that offense. So, I wonder, did Harbaugh win Lamar Jackson that MVP by catering to his needs and coaching out of his weaknesses? Like maybe it's just been a great coaching job to even have Lamar Jackson in the NFL still.
Yeah, I mean, it's really tough to tell right now. It really is, but I'm starting to agree with you about Lamar Jackson and him not being the guy. I really am. I don't know who the answer would be there. I mean, there's lots of scenarios going on in my head. I mean, do you go out and do you get a guy like Jameis Winston, from the Saints, who's unhappy with his time there with New Orleans not being able to play, and let him be a stopgap quarterback until you can draft somebody and get them ready to play in the NFL? I mean, those are possibilities, but I just don't know the answer to that. I do know that I'm starting to agree with you that it's not Lamar Jackson.
Yeah, and people in the chats here that are saying that's not good, Combs. You agreeing with Buck? The hell has froze over.
I know. I don't like doing it. I mean, I really don't. But I mean, the proof's in the pudding, right? Like,
right.
You're not putting up the numbers. You're not proving Buck wrong. That's the problem.
Yeah, like numbers do lie, but in this case, numbers do not lie at all. So guys, let's move on to our last factor crap of the night. And Casey, you kind of segued into it perfectly here for us over at facebook.com/manhour. Aaron Rodgers got hurt last night versus Combs versus the Philadelphia Eagles. He has it looked like he broke his ribs or possibly re-injured that thumb, but officially it was deemed a oblique injury, which is your ribs, basically at the end of the day. Jordan Love came in. He led the Packers to a scoring drive, and his arm looked really improved from last season. So, Combs, fact or crap, Jordan Love will be the quarterback for the Green Bay Packers moving forward.
I think it's fact. And, man, as a Bears fan, I don't want it to be fact because I want it to be crap, because I want Aaron Rodgers to start this weekend versus the Bears for two reasons. One, if we do start Justin Fields and we do have a healthy Justin Fields, I believe that the Bears can be the better team on Sunday. The other part of me wants it to be Aaron Rodgers because if the Bears don't start Justin Fields and we don't have a chance to win on Sunday, at least it's Aaron Rodgers that beats us one more time, and it's not Jordan Love beating us and starting a whole new trend with Packers quarterbacks, right? I thought earlier in the season, I really felt like, even though we did sign that 2-year deal with the Packers, I really felt like this was Aaron Rodgers' last run. I believe he retires, maybe does something a la his predecessor, Brett Favre, and goes to somewhere like, I don't know, maybe the New York Jets, who will probably be searching for a quarterback at the end of the season. Or maybe they have it in Mike White. Who knows? Or does he go to a place like Baltimore or San Francisco or some of these other places? but I do. I don't. And even he says last night in this press conference, hey, as long as we're in contention, then I'm gonna be out there playing. So what are you telling the other 55 guys on the roster that when they're not in contention and they still have to get out on the field, that you're too good to play with them because you're not in contention? Like, this is not a guy you want in your locker room. This is not a guy who is a leader by any stretch of the imagination. He's a winner. He's a winner. He's a great quarterback, an all-time great quarterback, but he's not. He's a lot like I like him to a lot. He's the NFL's version of LeBron James. He's the NFL's version of LeBron James, where he's just not going to win as many championships as the real GOAT, but people are going to talk to him about how great he is, and he's going to believe it, and he doesn't care about anybody else but himself. And that's where Rodgers is at right now. And I believe I'm going to say fact that Jordan Love starts the rest of the season.
So the Green Bay Packers do have a 3% probability of making the playoffs somehow, some way. So 3%, like they're not out of contention yet. But for all what we're concerned, Combs, is they are 100% out of out of the playoff race. Let's just be flat out honest about that. But can I go out and say that Jordan Love, in the quarter that he played last night, the team looked a lot more relaxed, or like around him. They looked like they were having a little bit more fun around him. So if the Green Bay Packers and you and whoever else out there thinks that Aaron Rodgers is done with the Green Bay Packers after this season, bench him. There is no reason to have him as a starting quarterback anymore right now. You are not going to make the playoffs unless hell freezes over and the Minnesota Vikings decides to tank for the rest of the season, the San Francisco 49ers lose out, and the Seahawks lose out, and the Eagles decide to not win a game ever again, and the list goes on and on and on. There is no way you're getting into the playoffs. Let Jordan Love take command of this team. Let Jordan Love be the first-round pick that he is meant to be. He looked pretty damn good versus a really, really good Eagles team. Let him take the lumps for the rest of the season. Let him and Watson and Dobbs, right, and who else is a quarterback? Like let them develop a chemistry now. So next year you are 13-4 again. You are 14-3. Like the Green Bay Packers have a team.
Let me ask you this.
Go ahead.
Let me ask you this. Was it a product of Jordan Love being really good, or was it a product of a team that was rallying around him, that wanted to perform well for him, to show everybody that this kid is supposedly the next quarterback of the future for the Green Bay Packers, and a combination of that and the Philadelphia Eagles taking their foot off the pedal and getting caught slipping?
So the first things first is the Eagles did not take the pedal off. Now, after that first quarter was like 14-0, I would say yes, they took the pedal, like they took the foot off the gas.
They were up 37-23.
It wasn't that bad. I got the point. But the defense was still playing really, really close man-to-man. Jordan Love threw a lot of really, really good balls. I think he threw maybe one bad ball in the end zone, but then the very next play, he hit him spot on for that touchdown. So, yes, Jordan Love, the team was rallying around Jordan Love, but Jordan Love was also playing really, really good football. As a Packers fan, that would give me some type of excitement and kind of like, hey, Aaron Rodgers, it's time for you to ride off into the sunset, my man.
Yeah, it was 37-23 when he came into the game. And I think that they were like, all right, well, Rodgers is out. We're taking our foot off the gas. I'm not saying that they backed off or that they didn't want to stop him. I just think they got caught off guard, right? They got caught off guard by a quarterback that was out there trying to showcase his stuff, a team that was railing around him, and they also had a 14-point lead.
But also, they had a 14-point lead earlier in the game, or a 13-point lead, and they're down by 1 going into the second quarter.
But they were facing Aaron Rodgers at that point. You don't expect them to take their foot off the pedal against Aaron Rodgers.
But they
you
did.
got Jordan Love coming into the game. I think they took their foot off the pedal then, and I think that they just got caught slipping. I don't think. I like Jordan Love. I really do. I think he's going to be a decent quarterback for the Green Bay Packers. I just don't know if he's that guy, right? Like, I don't know if he's that franchise quarterback just yet. Like, he's got a lot to prove. I don't know how much of it was him being really, really good versus the combination of the stuff that I brought up earlier. I don't know.
So with that being said, he has a lot to prove. So why not prove it for the rest of the season? Like what there's 6 games left. Let him prove it for the next 6 games, because guess who's a free agent next year? Jimmy G's a free agent. Jimmy G's playing out of his freaking mind, right? Yeah. He would be a perfect fit in Green Bay. Perfect.
I would do it. I would bench Aaron Rodgers now. But look, the guy is a Hall of Famer. He's a top 5 quarterback all time, and he's going to get the respect because Matt LaFleur is a guy who will respect that because he respects the game. He is that guy who, like, if Aaron Rodgers says, "Hey, look, I can go," he's going to let Aaron Rodgers go while they still have a chance to make the playoffs. Then, once they're eliminated from playoff contention, then they would probably say, "Hey, you know what? Let's give the rest of this. Let's give that thumb time to rest and see what you want to do next year." But this is going to be our time to see what we have with Jordan Love moving forward, because that's the way it's going to go. I mean, if he can go, he's going to go, and he does. He's right when he says he owns the Bears. They're playing the Bears this weekend. They may Chicago or may, right? Yeah, but they may or may not play Justin Fields. I mean, who knows what's going to happen? They've got a bye week after this. The Bears do, so they might give Justin Fields this week off, and then the bye week off, and then bring him back. Me personally, I hope he sits out the rest of the season to save him from themselves. But I want to. It's mixed, right? Because as a Bears fan, I want to see the Bears beat the shit out of the Packers. I want to see. I do. Selfishly as a fan, I want to see Justin Fields out there. I want to see him run for 200 yards, pass for 200 yards, and beat the Packers 37-10, and then go on the shelf for the rest of the season. That's what I want. But as a realistic person, if they don't play him, the Bears have no shot, and the Packers still have that 3% chance of making the playoffs. I mean, they still. I was thinking about it earlier. They still, even if the Eagles won out, or if the Eagles lost the rest of their games and the Packers won the rest of their games, they still couldn't catch the Eagles in the standings because they can only win 9 games now.
Yeah, but
so by the way, our boy over there, Wyatt, who said that the Packers wouldn't. There's no way they win less than 10 games. Guess what, Wyatt? You lose. Shave your head, bro.
All right, so that is going to be it for tonight's show, guys. But before it out, Combs, let's get into some of these comments throwing over here on both YouTube and Facebook. Casey says 49ers are going to keep Jimmy G. What are your thoughts on that?
I don't think so. I don't think they keep Jimmy G. I wouldn't. That's another place I wouldn't be surprised to see Lamar go. I wouldn't be. I also would not be surprised to see Aaron Rodgers there. Yeah, for a year or 2.
All right, so the next thing says, if Rodgers gets benched, he will be so much of a diva. He'll be bringing so much toxicity into that locker room. Fact?
Well, he's already doing all that anyway. Yeah. I think that if they were to bench him, I think he would go away. I really do. I don't think he would show up anymore.
All right, and then over here on YouTube, they said when Lamar Jackson wins, it is his praise, but when he loses, it's everybody else's fault, including the OC. Facts.
I mean, it depends on what you listen to. I mean, I do hear a lot of people giving him grief for it, including Ravens fans. I mean, I do hear them making him take ownership of the losses too. I think it's more national media that does stuff like that. I mean, guys like Chris Collinsworth who just have stiffies all day for guys like Aaron Rodgers and Lamar Jackson. Yeah. I mean, those types of guys. But you know, the real fans, the people that know what's going on, we blame Lamar too.
Yeah. So one last comment before we head out for tonight with our new time at 7 p.m. East Coast time here, moving forward for the foreseeable future. They said the Green Bay Packers are in rebuild mode. Just can't see it with Rodgers at QB. Time for new blood. Are the Packers really in rebuild mode?
I think they're in retool mode.
Yeah.
I wouldn't say that they're in rebuild mode. They've still got a pretty damn good defense. They've got a lot of talent. Christian Watson is a stud. And you know, that's it. I don't think they're in rebuild mode, but I think they're in let's find a quarterback mode.
All right. Any closing thoughts before we head out, Combs?
Yeah. Man Hour Nation.